Okay.
Yeah. So let's see. You always worried who's going to, if anyone's there. Anyone there? Oh, we've got one. Yeah, we've got people coming in. So I'm going to. Hi everyone, we'll get started in a minute. I'm just promoting everyone to panelist so that we can all see each other and see what's cooking. If you don't want to have your video on, then don't worry at all. It just makes it easier to chat if you want to unmute or ask a quick question during the session. So just letting the last few people in and then we will get going.
Good evening.
Hello, hello. Are you a King's person or are you a non-King's person? Oh, and LJ is joining. Wonderful. I think we've got about 17 people in. Oh, I've got a bit of echo, so I'm just going to mute you briefly, Hayley. And yeah, so we've got 17 people here. Welcome everyone. I'm really excited that you've joined us for what probably is King's first vegan cook-along, I would have thought, because if there had been one before, I hope I would have heard about it. So a big thank you to LJ for making all this happen with the sustainability team and for all of you for joining us. So this is a sort of official King's event, but I think we've probably got some non-King's people joining as well via our social media and plant-based health professionals network. So welcome everyone. It's an absolute delight to be talking about No Meat May and an NHS hospital supporting this as part of their sustainability agendas. So a place where I didn't really think we'd ever get to, but here we are, and we're looking forward to a really, really exciting evening full of tasty food. So without taking up any more of your time, I will introduce you to Hayley Tait, who we work together as part of Plant-Based Health Professionals UK, a community interest company that promotes and provides education on healthy plant-based diet. And Hayley is an all singing and dancing GP from Liverpool, who is also an author and a chef, and most recently a star of Ready Steady Cook. And if anyone wants to go back and watch it, it's series 2, episode 10. And it's absolutely fabulous. 2 vegan chefs, and it was all plant-based meals all the way. So have a look and see. But she's you were the green tomato, no, green pepper. And she is an author of a book, plant-based book, and I'll post that in the chat for everyone. So I will shortly hand over to Hayley, but just for a bit of housekeeping, we are recording. If anyone has a problem with that, please do pop it in the chat and I'll respect that view and we can stop the recording. We have used the chat to talk amongst yourselves, use the Q&A to ask myself, Laura or Hayley a question, and raise your hand if you need to speak quickly, and I'll just be keeping an eye on those areas. We just let one more straggler in, and there we go. Hayley, over to you. I'm asking you to unmute.
Good evening everybody, welcome, thanks for joining. Thanks so much for LJ and Shireen for making this happen. You're about 2 weeks in now to No Meat May, so congratulations, and I hope you're all embracing the benefits and the realising of the impact that you're going to have by embracing No Meat May. So we're all about whole foods, about plant-based, and about abundance of the good stuff, and then all the bad stuff will fall away. If everybody's with me, we're going to do the salsa first, we're going to do a little pate to line your fajita. We're going to make the fajita mix, and then we're going to make the ice cream. So if you haven't put your bananas in the freezer yet, I'd put them in now. And then a bit later on, we're going to get them out to make sure they're soft enough for your blender. Alrighty. So pillies on and sharpen your knives. So you can put some music on in the background if you're all muted. We all like the Gypsy Kings normally when we do this. H, could you put that top lens on once? So the salsa, we've got an abundance of beautiful vegetables and fruit. So tomatoes, some really ripe tomatoes. We've got 4 of these, and we're going to chop those up and have a bowl ready. So all of these lovely, vibrant, colourful vegetables and fruits are full of antioxidants and lots of vitamins. I don't know why my screensaver's gone off, H. My finger's gone off. Ooh. Oh.
Well, we can see you, Hayley.
Oh, can you see me okay?
Yeah, but while you're paused, just to let everyone know, if you can pop yourself on speaker view, then you'll be able to see Hayley full screen rather than all of us in gallery, and then you get a zoom in on what she's doing.
So you're going to chop your tomatoes, first slice them and then into small cubes, about 1 centimetre. This is all going to go into the salsa, which is going to be a rich, spicy salsa full of coriander, chillies, and lots of fresh lime. So once you chop these 4 tomatoes up, get them into little cubes and then pop them into a bowl. Yeah. And then the flavours of this will be able to marinate together while we do the rest of the cooking. So this is always a good thing to do first of all. And then we'll run along this with the knife to make them nice and mushy. So once you've got your tomatoes all chopped, then take your knife and run along it like this, just to squash them a little bit more. It's all going to go in the salsa, so it's going to be perfect. It'll macerate down with the vinegar and the lime juice anyway. And then pop those into your big bowl. And then you're going to do your red onion. So the red onion, more antioxidants than the white onion. The more colourful the vegetables, generally the better they are for you. The only sort of beige food I really love, I mean, there's lots of beige foods that are okay, but porridge is the big one. Porridge with flax and hemp seeds, you know, it's all beige and yet it's still all good. Unlike smiley faces and curly fries, which... So we've got half an onion, half a red onion there. Use your other red onion for your, use your other half for your fajita mix. So just pop that to the side. You want this really thin. I don't like eating raw onion, but actually I find I can eat the raw red onion when it's got the apple cider vinegar on. So about ½ centimetre chunks, and then really finely on this side. If you've got anything sticking there, just move that out of the way for a minute. You can always go back to it. And again, I'd run the knife through it just to make everything really small. You don't really want big chunks of anything when with your salsa. So again, run your knife through that. So you just got the point end of your knife and you're just going to run your knife up and down, up and down. And then pop that with your tomatoes, the juice of that, and your apple cider vinegar.
Hayley, we've lost your video.
Sorry.
Are you back?
Back. Am I back?
Yeah.
That was my cousin phoning. So if you watch this now, you'll see that my onions are really finely chopped. So pop them in with your tomatoes. And then let's get the vinegar on them so they can start changing the flavour up. So you want 4 tablespoons of vinegar. I've got this apple cider vinegar, which I love. You can be generous with it, it's fine. It's not, there's no, it's not sort of really prescriptive in terms of the quantities. And if you've got a good zester, so we're going to zest and juice the limes. The zest gives a really gorgeous flavour, which you'll start getting as soon as you start rotating that lime now around your grater. You'll start getting that gorgeous smell as the zest comes up, which is amazing. And this gives a great flavour. This sort of makes your salsa. So zest all your 3 limes. As you know, we've got lovely citrus with vitamin C. And this will all add to the flavours, and that will macerate down in your salsa. You can spend longer on this if you want. You'll have it on the video, which you can always access on Plant-Based Health Professionals. There's loads of free fact sheets and resources there. So we've got this lovely green zest now, and pop that onto your onions and your tomatoes, and then roll your limes. So squash your limes down and give them a little roll, and it'll just release the juice. It'll make it a bit easier for you to squeeze out. So all 3 of them, and then squeeze that fresh lime all over your salsa. So we've got 6 of those, 6 halves. So in there you've got your chopped tomatoes, your finely chopped red onion, your vinegar, your lime juice. You can put raw garlic in this if you want, but we're going to put quite a lot of garlic in everything else, so I haven't done it. And we're going to put lots of fresh coriander in here. Grab a chilli. Now, I've said 2 to 3 chilies, but mine are enormous. And I know from experience that they are really spicy. So it does depend on you. I don't know whether you know the little trick where you slice the end of the chili off and just put it on your lower lip, and it gives you an indication of how spicy it is. Sometimes they're very bland, and you know that you're going to need like 3 or 4. And so, yeah. Sorry, LJ, was I too quick? Shall I slow down? Right, so you've got your chopped red onion, your vinegar, your tomatoes, your lime zest, the lime juice. It's all macerating down in there. I saw a lovely trick that Dr. Neetu Bajekal did. Whenever she, when she finished with her limes on her lemons on her cook along, she just threw them into the dishwasher. And since then, we've been doing it, and it does make a difference to your dishes. I'm just going to rinse my hands now because the citrus tends to sting, and then we'll get to the chili. There we go. Okay, so I'm going to get this big chili. Now, the way I chop them is I chop it lengthways. 2, 3, 4 times around, so it'll open up like a flower, and then chop it very finely now. And again, we're going to use that method. I leave the seeds in unless you're particularly not fond of any spice at all. I would leave the seeds in. They don't cause an issue in the salsa. And then use that method again, where we're just going to chop, so we can chop it finely. Again, you don't really want to get a big chunk of anything. So we'll chop that nicely. The chilies are just gorgeous. I mean, I love spicy food, so And the red and the vibrant, again, abundant in all the good stuff, antioxidants, vitamin C. I think vitamin E is red peppers. All right, so that's what you've got so far. You've got your chilies, your lime zest, your onions, your tomatoes. Give that a really big stir. And we want about a tablespoon of coriander. So a big bunch. Chop up quite roughly. And finely chop the stems. And then chop it finely. And that's going to go in. And then we're going to let that sit. I don't know how many of you have got your bananas already in. I did a little post about what you could do with your bananas. You can slice them, but if you haven't frozen them already, just pop them into slices and get them in the freezer. They won't take long. And if you've got them in the freezer, I'd probably say take them out now, because if they've been in overnight, they are quite rough on your blender. The best way to do it is to do it through a juicer, really, a macerating juicer, not a macerating juicer, an aggregate juicer, and that just pushes the bananas through and makes them into a smooth paste. It really is a revolutionary thing, how sweet and delicious it is. And of course, just a banana. Okay, so I've chopped my coriander really finely, just to release all that flavour. But none of this is cooked, we're not destroying anything, and it's going to sit there in the lovely vinegar and lime juice and macerate away. So I hope you've all got a delicious smell now in your kitchens, because I have. And that will sit quite happily, and that'll last a good few days if you want. In the fridge. Okay, so we've got the salsa ready. Now let's make this bean paste. We don't need to wipe down anything. All these flavors are going to go great together. So I'm just going to chop 1 clove of garlic. So finely chop your garlic. I do it in little slices first, then chop them on the other side. Keep your fingers out the way of the knife by just tucking your fingers in with your knuckles ahead of the knife. And I'm going to put a little bit of salt with this. We're going to make the paste with some black beans. Now, we know black beans are full of fibre. They're an amazing source of protein. They're really good in terms of embracing your no meat May. So I'm sure you're all eating way more legumes than you did in April. But they're the real mainstay of the diet. And, you know, you can eat them in so many forms. And certainly this is a really nice sandwich filler. So just this with, it's a bit like a sort of refried bean, but you're not frying anything, it's just raw beans. I'm going to use, so we can talk about the beans actually. So I've crushed my garlic and made my salsa. I'm going to talk about beans. So just as a comparison, there's 2 kilograms of beans, okay, and that cost £4. Now that will bulk up to make, I don't know, probably 4 kilograms of beans. This tin will give me 240 grams of beans, and this costs 70p. So that was £4, that was 70p, and that gives me 240 grams, and that's going to bring it me 4 kilograms. So if you can, get used to soaking your beans. It literally is the night before you go into bed, get your beans soaked. I boil them up first thing in the morning, rinse them, boil them up first thing in the morning, and then they're ready then for the rest of the day. If you've got a pressure cooker, even better, because they only take 15 minutes. So with if you drain one of your tin of beans, or if you prepare them yourself, about 120 grams, which is about that. And then we're going to squash these with a fork. So you've got a bowl, you've got that garlic that you've crushed in some salt. You've probably got a little bit of flavour on your board from your chilli and coriander, which is great. And you've got your fork, and you're just going to push your fork into those beans. And you'll see how easily and how beautifully they just pulp down into a pate-like consistency. And this is just going to give you a little bit of extra fibre, a little bit of extra protein, a few more added beans to this whole meal. And as I say, it's a good little use for a sandwich filler. It's nice if you put a bit of salsa with it and use it as a sandwich filler that way, or just sliced tomatoes, or you could use it as a party dip with tortilla crisps, just like corn crisps, or crudités like sticks of carrot, sticks of celery. So we know we've got some salt in that because we've got the garlic in. And so I'm just going to add a little bit of pepper. And it's optional, because I said about one of the toppings you could use for your fajita wrap was some plain yogurt or sour cream. And I'm going to put a bit of this in this just to thin it down. It's not necessary. You don't have to do it. If you've not got the yogurt, it doesn't matter. But it does give us the opportunity to then talk about soy and fortified soy products, which obviously when you're on a whole food plant-based diet, there's a few little things that you need to keep up with, and that's in terms of your vitamin D and your omegas and your B12. So lots of your soya products will be fortified, so keep your eye out for them to get your fortified milks. So that looks quite yummy now. Well, for grey sludge. But actually, that again, potentially a bland looking colour, but full of delicious flavours. So what we're going to do is probably use about that size blob, and we're going to smear that on the fajita, and then we're going to put the full mix in, and then we've got the salsa for the top. So rest that to the side for a minute, and we're back to our board, which we still don't need to clean. And we're going to chop the onions again now for the fajita mix. So is everybody happy? Do we need? I
think we probably just need a minute. I don't know about anyone else. I'm still crushing my beans.
Okay. So brilliant, LJ. Congratulations on getting all your colleagues to embrace No Meat May. That's fantastic. You know, we know that the culinary dietary patterns are unsustainable. All the studies, all the evidence, as all said, it's unsustainable. I mean, David Attenborough said it's unsustainable. The Eat Lancet Guide, the Canadian guidance, health guidance, the WHO, the United Nations. You know, everybody's saying it's unsustainable, and so the more that we move to a plant-based diet, the healthier it is for us, but the healthier it is for all animals and the rest of the planet. And of course,
the big vegan news.
We're in a brilliant position to promote a good diet and to promote sustainability. The NHS is a huge source of you know, of climate change, of carbon. And the more we move away from it, and the more we've got groups like this, the better.
So the big plant-based news it seemed today, there's a delay, isn't there, was that Gautier's restaurant in Soho has gone totally vegan.
Brilliant!
I know, so that joins that one of the world's top restaurants in New York as well has now become completely plant-based since coming back from you know, lockdown and reopened as a vegan restaurant. So I think, you know, civil society is acting. I think we need to catch up, don't we, as health professionals?
Yes, yeah, brilliant. You know, and sometimes putting it into action can seem daunting, but you've all got this, you know, you've got all these resources that, you know, you've got the plant-based health professionals fact sheets, you've got a 21-day challenge, which is, you know, you've got Q&A opportunities. There's so much out there now you can feed into, and all the Instagram pages, you know, everyone's posted a recipe. Everyone's got a cookbook out. Right. So in terms of your fajita mix, we've got some lovely colourful peppers, green peppers, red peppers, garlic, chilli, all rich in vitamin C, B6, K1, which works with your calcium absorption, folate, and obviously the fibre. So what we're not getting in the meat, what we're getting in the meat is, of course, the animal fat, the saturated animal fat, and what we're not getting in it is any of the fibre. So, and all those things that we know are beneficial for health, for the gut microbiome. So I've moved on now to chopping my red onions for the fajitas. So we've got 1.5 onions now, because we used half in the salsa, and these can be quite rough. This is all going to reduce down a little bit in the mix. So chop your onions into about centimetre chunks. The dog's just eaten a bit that's flow off. I'm not sure that that's good for dogs, but he's a retriever and he tends to eat anything. And that'll all break up. We've got some more garlic, but I'm going to pop that in later. So let's get the onions and the peppers ready. So peppers, I just slice them in half and then pull the main stem with your seeds out. If you're a keen gardener, you can grow peppers from those in this country. So, and even outside, apparently. And so yeah, so you can pull those, the seeds and the white pith out, and let's chop this into strips, like sort of fine strips, not too long. So that's probably going to make, I'm going to chop it into fine strips and then I'm going to pop it that way. So quite thin strips. Ooh, somebody's growing. Brilliant, Rita. Fantastic. I heard another tip as well, that when your garlic's gone a little bit past its best and there's a little spout on it, like a little green shoot, again, you can bury them in a wee pot of compost and you will get a bulb of garlic from that. So all these tips are great to share. So I've got the green pepper. So they're lining up a little bit like that. So if you get your green peppers like this. I'm not going to do a spoiler about the green peppers and the red tomatoes, but Sunny might be enjoying a hamper. So yeah, so we were 2 plant-based chefs on the Ready Steady Cook. It was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun. So we've got these lovely red and green peppers into nice strips, and it'll remind you, you know, of your fajita mix if you ever eat out. So before your board gets too busy, I'm going to pop this in a big wok. I just use this big pan, okay, but so anything like that, it's nice to be able to show you what's going on, but you sort of want one with a wide base. We minimally cook as much as possible so that, you know, we may keep the nutrients, and I'm not going to use any oil either in this one. So again, if you're underweight and you want extra oil, then you can add some oil to cook these with. But we've got an epidemic of obesity, so we do try and reduce the unnecessary fat. And what I find, and I think what everybody finds, is actually it makes no difference at all. So I'm going to pop 2 to 3 tablespoons of water on that and fire it up, and it'll be just as good as if you put, 2-3 tablespoons of olive oil or whatever. I don't know whether you saw that let's grab your red pepper and do the same with that one. So slice it in half, take out your middle, and then we'll slice it in. So we did a big charity come along, and the hob cracked under the weight of the catering pans, sadly. But it has been replaced now. So yeah, so we didn't have no hob, it was just a cracked hob. But yeah. Right, so same again, nice thin slices. And you can use mushrooms. So I've got jackfruit down there. Somebody did text me about they couldn't find jackfruit, and also sometimes it is in places like Aldi on offer at different times of the year. But sometimes it can be a wee bit expensive, and it doesn't add a huge amount to the dish. I really wanted to use it to show you that you can get the textures and of the meat. If you crave that sort of meaty texture, it's just like shredded chicken or shredded beef. And often, meat is tasteless, and what it is it's all the flavors and everything that goes with it. So what you might find is when you use the jackfruit, that it doesn't seem any different at all. And in which case, why would you eat something that was really unhealthy for you and unhealthy for the planet? However, if you haven't got jackfruit, you don't like jackfruit, you can use mushrooms, big portobello mushrooms. Sometimes I'll put like 4, slice those up exactly like this. So you've got your peppers and your onions, and let's get them cooking. So we're going to turn your heat on to 2 or 3 tablespoons of water, and just get that fired up. And let that get cooking, and we'll prepare the rest of the ingredients. So we want some more garlic and some chili, and the Cajun spice. I hope you all were able to find that. It's. I mean, I got mine in Aldi, I think, for about 30p. But it's just a ready mix of spices. It's very easy to find. And it's exactly like that for heat mix that you get in those pre-bought boxes that will cost you a lot of money. And actually all you needed was a 30p sachet of spice. Okay. So have a little tidy with your useless things. The garlic, same as before. You can push down on it to split the casing, the shell, to get your skin off, or you can just mine just came off dead easy then. Slice this quite thinly, but I'm not going to do it. It doesn't have to be really crushed like the last one, because it's just giving the flavour. So we'll do that same method we've done for all the things where we're finely chopping. Some of these are a wee bit brown, so I'm going to take that out, and let's chop like this, so that we're just going to chop it a little bit finely, gather it together again, chop through it again, and this is all going to go in together with the chili and the shredded jackfruit. So pop that on the side. Your chili, again, the same, 4 or 6 ways. Put down the middle, put down the other way. Why are you laughing at it? The which? Yeah. Max is the dog, he's asleep. And again, this is going to cook, so you're not that fussed about how big the chunks are. But we'll cut through it again. Keep an eye on your hob. If you've got a particularly high hob, just make sure your food isn't burning. And I hope you'll embrace this whole cooking with the water. It really makes a difference. You know, you can keep you've got your nice fatty acids and things from other sources, nuts, seeds. Okay, so I've got chili and garlic there. I'm going to drain this tin of jackfruit. Ooh, my little chef's just popped in to give us a stir. Now remember, never, well not never, but don't get the sweet jackfruit. That's quite delicious, but if you like it, but you don't want sugary jackfruit in your food. And this is why. So I use this in my book for it's called Pull Your Leg Pork. So I wasn't always vegan, so it's only been 4 years. So I did eat a lot of meat, so I was used to eating meat. So things like shredded pork or slow cooked meats with the way they shred, then you've got that texture, and all you need to do is flavor that. It cooks in seconds. This has got a bit of protein in. It's full of fiber. It's not loaded with protein because it's technically a fruit. You know, we're mixing that with beans, so it's giving this added texture. So I'm going to drain that into the sieve. There we go. And I'll just keep a check on this because I don't want it to overcook before we add everything else in. So they're just losing the onion. So the onion's just losing its colour slightly, just getting a little bit translucent. So I'm going to take that off the hob because I don't want it to overcook. Off the heat rather. And let's grate our jackfruit. So what you'll find is there's a hard stem at the base of the jackfruit. So push that down on the big one on your grater, and then the rest will just flake apart. I just remembered as well. So there's the other one. I saw that No Meat May was based in Australia, and there's an organisation there called Doctors for Nutrition. So they've just brought a recipe book out again, which features 2 curry recipes from me. Interestingly, they don't get okra in Australia, so they used another alternative. But you know, we can get abundance of vegetables here in lots of different supermarkets, frozen sections. We're amazing in Liverpool. We've got loads of international supermarkets. So particularly like those beans and things, you'll find them much cheaper. What you'll find with the jackfruit as well, sometimes you get these little seeds. Just push them on your grater. And Shireen loves jackfruit, don't you, Shireen?
No, I just don't do jackfruit. I don't know why, although I never really shredded it, so maybe I need to do that next time.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the thing is, I don't long for that texture, so
yeah,
so that slightly puts me off usually. Yeah. But it does seem to become the favourite of vegan restaurants, isn't it, to have at least one jackfruit meal?
Yeah. I know. I don't normally use it in these particularly. Right, but there we go. But it does demonstrate beautifully, particularly for people who are transitioning, you know, that you don't need to eat expensive, awful, ultra-processed meat supplements. You know, you can make your own, but from something much more healthy. I mean, a bean burger is much better than anything. So let's get these in your pan. Your grated jackfruit, all your chilies and all your garlic. Pop your pan back on with your peppers and your onion in. And let's get that on. Swipe your jackfruit through the chilli and the garlic so you get all that flavour off your board. And give your hands a little rinse.
Hayley, people are wondering whether you'll be sharing your recipes with us. Is that going to be possible, do you think? Are they ones that you've already got written up?
Yeah, so you've got all the ingredients. Oh, do you mean like in a method?
Yeah.
Perfect. Yeah, no problem at all.
Thank you. Although, as you say, everyone has got the ingredients already as part of the sign up, but I think it's just more the how.
Yes, yeah, how it all fits in. Okay, so the Cajun spice, let's get 4 teaspoons, quite big ones. There's quite a lot of ingredients over there. So sprinkle that over your cooking vegetables and jackfruit. My peppers were particularly big, so I think I'm definitely going to have lots left over. And the great thing, of course, again about plant-based eating, is this stuff doesn't go off. You don't have to keep your eye on it. The beans will ferment, but you know, you've got at least 3 days. So give that a good stir so that the Cajun spice will really coat everything, and your garlic and your chili will really kick in. And again, you notice that we put those in last so they don't overcook. They're just going to impart all that lovely rich flavour. Now I'm getting a real spicy smell and lots going on in that pan. So there we go. Hello. So we've got peppers, onion, garlic, chili, jackfruit. We just cooked it in a little bit of water, and the onions lost their colour. They went slightly translucent, and then we've added the Cajun spice. So we've got all that lovely spicy mix. We're just going to tomato it up. So now we've got 4 tablespoons of, I don't know who's that one? A good view. I've got a good view of somebody. Hello. 4 tablespoons of tomato puree. I'm just gonna, I used the end of an old one, so I'm just gonna go into this one. So again, another tablespoon. And I've recently gone into plum tomatoes rather than chopped tomatoes because currently they have they keep more of the nutrients, and it's so simple to chop them up yourself. So I just tip them out. Make sure you get the rest of the tin label out, and using a pair of scissors, just chop the tomatoes up. Scissors or a knife. Just chop your tomatoes up. And the other thing, people don't like buying chopped tomatoes. It's a bit like people who buy maybe ready-made cut onion and things like that. So they don't like buying plum tomatoes. They'd rather buy chopped tomatoes. You'll notice in the supermarket they're always a wee bit cheaper. So that's again another good thing for our benefit.
A quick question, so, Hayley. Somebody asked,
yes?
what spice should they use if they haven't got Cajun?
Paprika. You've got paprika, or probably a teaspoon of chili powder and 2 of paprika or 2 of smoked paprika.
Yep. Okay. Thank you.
You could put a little bit of cumin. The cumin would work, and you know, half a teaspoon of cumin as well would bring it together.
Chili powder. Okay.
You're not on mute, Samantha.
Oh, sorry.
Okay, just saying.
How do I turn myself on mute?
Right, so I've chopped up the tomatoes, which look now exactly like a tin of tomatoes that would have cost me 20 pence more. So we've got the tomato puree in there, so let's pop these in as well. And that should be really firing up now. I'm just going to lower that heat down. And I'm just going to show you what it looks like once I've just stirred it all in. So we're really hitting the rainbow colours here with your purple onion, your red and green peppers, and all those delicious tomatoes, your super antioxidants with your garlic. So have a wee look there. There we go, that's what it's looking like just now. I'm going to put a little bit of, well, I'm going to taste it first. So you get your tasting spoon out. What's buzzing age? I don't know. Okay, so mine's quite spicy because I think that chili was is really spicy. It's really gorgeous, a massive kick to it. And let's put our beans in. So there's the rest of my
same stage. Is everyone at the same stage? I can. It feels like people. Yeah. Okay. Panos is yeah, is at the same stage. We're okay.
So so a tin of beans is 400 grams, and 240 of that is beans. So I've got a tin and a half here because we used half a tin for our like our pate base or sandwich filler. So put the rest of the beans, get those in now, and they're just going to heat through. If it's super thick, you can add a little bit of water. And you'll start to see now that, you know, just from those few ingredients, you've now got a massive portion of delicious food that's finished, you know. I mean, it says it serves 4, but that's 4 really hungry grown-ups. I think that's going to probably do about 8 big fajitas. Do you know what's buzzing age? Is it the cooker? Do it. Sorry, we've just got a squeaky whiny noise. I'm just trying to identify. So there we go. So we've got our onion, peppers, garlic, chili, tomato paste or tomato puree. We've got our chopped tomatoes that we self-chopped. We've got our grated jackfruit, and we've got our delicious black beans. You can use kidney beans if you wanted to, but black beans work really well, and these are delicious. I cook them down. I put a bit of arami seaweed in the water as I boil them, so just to give that little iodine boost. And also I made extra, and so I'll just blend that up with some vegetables, and that'll make a delicious black bean soup. So there we go. So that's cooked. That can turn off. We can clear some of the stuff. And we've got that there. Tacos. So your nice cream now. Shall I layer up the fajita first? Might layer up the fajita first. Do you want to layer up your fajita first before we, and then, yeah, that's not for the fajita, is it? Let's just make a simple salad to go in. So I'm just going to chop some iceberg lettuce, just very fine strips of iceberg lettuce. Again, these were optional at the bottom of the ingredients, so don't worry if you're not doing this. I've got some raw spinach. So I'm just making a really simple salad with, I'm going to just chop a cucumber in there. And to be honest, we're going to leave the tomatoes out because we've got so many tomatoes. But what we are going to dress it with, really simply, is just some chopped coriander. And you can leave these leaves a little bit bigger this time. Pop that in. And then some lime juice. Put your lime on the side. It's easier, you get less pips and more juice comes out. And so that'll look really pretty. You can mix that around with your hands. It doesn't need anything big or fancy or clever. Doesn't need any fancy oils. It's just great, delicious food that you're increasing your iron content when you add your vitamin C. So, and when you add your lime juice to it, you're making the iron more accessible from your spinach. Oops. Okay, so I've got a whole wheat pitta. And I've got some tortillas.
I love that Max is now mopping up all your you dropped on the floor.
He's just around all the time. He's had about 3 breakfasts today. We call it all breakfast for him. Aren't you? Okay. Yes, I know. So I've got these tortilla chips. There's a lot. And so if people want nachos, this is a great filling you can use for nachos. So these tortilla chips, you can buy anywhere. These are actually quite nice ones because they're corn and they're round. And you know, if you've got teenage kids, you can get them to eat this and they won't know the difference of between this and you know, having a chicken or a beef base. And also, you know, encouraging the kids to eat really healthily is amazing, and they can do it themselves. It's not hard. So we've got our beanie pate, which is garlicky and delicious. Pop a blob of that onto your fajita, and you'll see. Spread that around the middle.
Just have your plate to slightly cut off. You'd be better just putting it. Oh yeah, that's cool. Yeah.
All right. There.
Yeah, that's good.
Okay. Then you've got your delicious fajita mix that you've made, and it's delicious and yummy. It smells amazing. If you've tasted yours and you needed a little bit of black pepper in it, or if you felt it needed a bit of salt, shouldn't do really. Often, one, your beans may have had a bit of extra salt in them, and also the jackfruit may have had a bit of extra salt. So pop some of that down the middle. I make a cheesy sauce from using nutritional yeast. And so if you wanted to make these into like an enchilada where you bake them in the oven, you could do that as well. You've got your salsa. By now, your onions and everything have macerated down, and it's delicious. And you can smell the zest and that lovely fresh coriander. And the vinegar will really give a good spike to the chili. And then I'm going to pop some of that salad on there. And then it's up to you how you roll it up. There it is. I'm going to go over. I'm going to tuck the ends in, or possibly not because I've overfilled. And over again. And then it's a bit of a knife and fork job, that one, I think. Let's just chop through the middle. And there you go. So that's your delicious fajita. Mm. That is so gorgeous. I hope you've all managed to taste it. In terms of wraps, you can use a wholemeal one. They come in all kinds of ways. I often use chapatis, just a wholemeal chapati. You can warm them up in a pan first if you wish. Just a hot pan, and just cook them 10 seconds each side. Or you can put them into the microwave. So the tacos, so we could use this like a refried bean. Blob a bit of refried bean on. Blob some of our nacho topping. And again, you can use you can get vegan grated cheese if you wish. I don't particularly like it. It's made predominantly from coconut oil, and it's a bit bland. But then some days it just works for you. Pop some salsa on. Pop some yogurt on. And then there you've got your plate of nachos. You could pop those under the grill with some vegan cheese. Or you can just enjoy them like this with a little bit of everything on.
So somebody's asking, what's your go-to wraps to use? Have you got any particular type of wrap or that you reach for?
I tend to use a wholemeal chapati.
Okay, that's a good one. Yeah. Otherwise, I guess just wholemeal or whole wheat wraps. Oh no, what happened?
Hannah's just reached over for the nachos and done this.
Lucky I got my photo before that happened.
She's starving, Shireen. She's starving. Yeah, so that would be my go-to, but definitely a whole wheat one. But that very tasty. She's shouting. But that pate really makes a difference, and I think you'll find that that's really tasty. And also the salsa, so it all works, and it can all be used in so many different ways. Your salsa will be great on salads. It'll be great with if you wanted a sort of ploughman's with a little bit of spike with your cashew cheeses, and everyone's doing fermented cheeses now with nut milk. That'll all work. So I'm going to pop this to the side. I think that I don't eat a lot of plain yogurt. I tend to eat soya milk and not a lot of yogurt, and I think that's got a little bit of sugar in. It's a bit sweet. So now make a nice cream very quickly. So I've got a blender. I'm going to pop a little bit of plant milk in the bottom. So this is unsweetened. I'm just going to shut that door. And just about a tablespoon or two. Pop your frozen bananas in. I'll make just one portion of this. And this is so easy and so delicious. You won't believe it. If you've got a really sweet tooth, then you may have to stick a little bit of agave syrup in or maple syrup. But honestly, the sweetness from the bananas is incredible. And I use a raw cacao, sustainably farmed. So yeah, about a tablespoon and a half. And I'm just going to be really noisy and blend that up. So hopefully you guys are tucking into your fajitas. Give it a little shake. And cinnamon in this would work really well as well. Would be nice. It would just spike up the cacao a little bit. It's a little bit of trial and error with the recipe in terms of the quantity of milk and the consistency of your bananas. So, and you can always throw it back in the freezer, but it is best made fresh. Yum. So this is now like, it's quite soft, that one, can you see? But that's like a chocolate ice cream. So if I'd used less milk, less soy milk, then it would have been thicker. But also you can pop it back in the freezer when it's like this for about 20 minutes, and then you can soft scoop it out. So I would serve that with some delicious berries. So you've got all the antioxidants and the benefits of the cacao. You've got banana, you've got blueberries and strawberries, and no sugar, and a delicious dessert. So congratulations, everybody.
Oh, there's a quick question from LJ. She accidentally got cacao nibs. Is that going to work?
Cacao nibs will just blend your banana with your milk first, or blend your banana down, or stick it through your ogre juicer. And then when that's mixed, just stir the cacao nibs in. I wouldn't put them through the blender. And also, you'd same with your fruit, but you can also do it with mango, so frozen mango. The other thing you can use is a tin of coconut milk. Just turn it upside down in the fridge and scoop the thick stuff off. That'll freeze as well with cacao. It's just making great desserts that are, you know, that are still plant-based and not full of rubbish. So what have we got? We've got this, yes. I think that's everything, isn't it?
Oh.
So hopefully you've all been able to do the next I Can Cook Along.
Fabulous.
And are embracing whole foods and plant-based. You can see how easy it is to just eat really delicious food with abundance of vegetables and fruits and spices and herbs, and really cheap. You know, it's so important that it's affordable and accessible to everybody. You know, you looked at that big, huge bag of beans I got for £4. It's huge.
Yeah, absolutely. If anyone wants to pop on the video and just show the dishes, I'll take a quick screenshot, see what we've got. Everyone's, oh, that's great. One from Panos. Like, hang on a second then. Let me just get Panos then. How do I do that? Ah,
H.
okay. Oh.
Yes.
Oh no, I don't know what I'm doing. Hang on a sec for me. I seem to have made a bit of a, oh, okay, hang on, we're going. Oh, can't take my screenshot. Okay, hang on. I'll tell you when I'm going to take it. Seems the top row is it. Okay, go on. Oh, I'm ready now. I'm capturing. Cool. Okay, one more. Fabulous. Cool. Thanks, guys.
Brilliant.
Well, Hayley, you are an absolute superstar. I can't believe you've done that in pretty much an hour, and everyone's kept up. Lots of lovely thank yous there. Amazing. Thank you so much for this evening. Ice cream is incredible. Well, there you go. Lots of thank you. So thanks ever so much, Hayley. We can book Hayley on demand again, I'm sure, if there is a desire. So
Absolutely.
yeah, everyone's nodding. So thank you very much.
Catch me on Instagram at Health on the Hob.
Absolutely.
If you make recipes, yeah, take your photo and tag it, and there's always recipes on there that you can pick up, you know, for more inspiration. Yeah,
so Health on the Hob is your MO, isn't it? And that's who you are on Instagram and Facebook and things. Hayley Tait, Health on the Hob. I've posted in the chat her recipe book if you want it, and you can sit down with your dinner and watch her episode of Ready Steady Cook on BBC iPlayer. Do it today. Cool. Well, thanks everyone, and we'll see you back next week for LJ's webinar, but in the meantime, enjoy your dinner.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Delicious.
Cool.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.